It's America, Daniel.
This podcast is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. Spoiler warning for whatever is in the title of this episode.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/The Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that The Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible and all other major podcast apps.
Welcome to episode 12 of the Treehouse of Horror of Babylon, where we discuss the Exor-sis. I am Ryan, and with me as always is Daniel. Say hi, Daniel.
I am Pazuzu.
No, you're not.
I thought your name was Pizza.
And the show is brought to you by our patrons, Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Pazuzu.
God damn it.
And Ben,
The Fourth.
Patron of Hope.
I thought you were going to do Pazuzu.
Pazuzu of Hope. And Mia the Fifth, the Pazuzu Maker.
She makes Pazuzus.
She makes it rain vomit
Blood and...
on pea soup.
yeah.
Yeah.
She makes it rain something.
Thank you to Four Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can visit at the Morgantown Mall, Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at shop.fourhorsemencomics.com, and you can check out their new store on Main Street in Springfield, where they have just bought out the Android's Dungeon from Comic Book Guy. He and his wife are finally moving to Japan, so they're going to have a lovely time, and Ron's going to get to live it up in Springfield. So thank you and enjoy your new life in Springfield, Ron the Third, Grampus of Christmas. Please tell me what state it's in. I promise I will not tell.
I will.
No, you don't get to know.
The vampire's a pure myth, superstition. I may be able to bring you proof that the superstition of yesterday can become the scientific reality of today.
Okay, so jumping into background, this episode first aired on October 22nd, 2017. It's from Treehouse of Horror 28. It is season 29, episode 4. Overall, it's episode number 622. It is the first of 3 segments. The second segment is Cora Lisa, which is a parody of Coraline. And the third segment is Homer, which is a story where Homer runs out of food and decides to eat himself.
Oh, okay.
This episode was directed by Timothy Bailey, who has directed over 30 episodes of The Simpsons, and written by John Frink, who has written 37 episodes of The Simpsons, and of course is the namesake of Professor John Frink. And this episode guest stars William Friedkin. Yes, the director of The Exorcist himself appears in this episode.
And that's that. Another story in the classic, infallible 3-act structure. Good enough for Aristotle, good enough for The Simpsons.
Mr. Sislak, I have a feeling there's going to be one more act to this story.
Well, I'm not hanging around for that. 4 acts.
Okay, jumping to structure and themes. So this was actually both of our first times watching this. What kind of jumped out at you about this one that felt very exorcist-y? If it did.
Exorcist-y.
Exorcistery.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, it had literal demon possession. They even mentioned him being the demon of the southwest wind.
I was surprised that they kind of focused on Pazuzu rather than just being like, she's possessed by the devil, which is kind of what I expected.
I remember we were talking about this last week, and we expected it to be Lisa that got possessed.
Instead of Maggie. Yeah. I'm curious what that would have been like. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that I really have a preference.
I'm not in the way it was structured, really.
No.
You got a couple of jokes, like her first words and stuff like that, but...
I was really expecting her to pee on the carpet.
I was kind of hoping for it.
Yeah, but I guess, urine, kids, it's...
They could have made it fire.
Yeah,
they mentioned lava poop.
Yeah, she did have lava in her diaper.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to change a lot of a diaper. I think it just melts the diaper and you put a new one on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably have to buy a new crib every once in a while, but... I was also surprised that they had a random generic exorcist instead of having Reverend Lovejoy or Ned Flanders do the exorcism.
I also remember that we said that our hope would be that it would be Bart and Lisa kind of taking on the...
Or that would have been great,
the Karis and, oh, fudge.
Father Lancaster. Lancaster Marin.
Marin, yeah.
Marin.
That was our hope, was it would be Maggie possessed and they would be the exorcists.
Yeah.
So this was kind of like a combination of our predictions and our hopes.
Yeah, sort of. I don't like it when they do these parodies and they just invent like random generic characters. Like The Simpsons' strength is it has literally hundreds of characters, and you could pull like any number of people from like the backlog of characters to play these people in parodies. So I don't... that was my Koontz in the Death Note one, is that all the deaths that of like the montage of Lisa killing people
should have been
like actual characters. Instead they were just like generic people. Mm-hmm. There's some Simpsons super fan like screaming at their headphones right now, Ryan, are you kidding? You didn't recognize that guy? He's blah 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 from episode blah blah. I'm sorry if I don't, but
they're coming to get you, Barbara.
Alright, moving on to characters. So we've already mentioned it a little bit, and I guess we just kind of talked about characters.
Yeah.
But if I have to think about it, I think Maggie probably actually was the better choice for two reasons. One, because she doesn't talk, so it's more of a joke, it's more of a gimmick to make her talk. Mm-hmm. And also because I think she's an underused character in general. She's usually just kind of always there in the background. There's occasional jokes that focus her. There's only really a handful of episodes that are Maggie-centric, if you don't include the cartoons, the shorts, because almost all of those are. So any time where it gets to like totally focus on her, I'm for it. And Lisa has so much screen time that I think it probably works out better that way.
I was expecting her to shoot Mr. Burns. That was like the one gag I was sort of waiting for once they established Maggie.
She has shot other people kind of throughout. There was an episode where Homer got in trouble with the mob, and all the mobsters like come to his front door to like take him out, and Maggie shoots them all with a rifle from her bedroom window.
Why does she keep getting these guns?
She keeps them under her mattress, actually.
It's America, Daniel.
We actually can't watch the gun episode. There's a classic episode where Homer buys a gun and is completely irresponsible with it, and we can't watch it in my house because I don't really want Drake just seeing him like pick his ear with a gun.
I'll kill you all! I'll drive you crazy and I'll kill you all! I'm every nightmare you ever had. I am your worst dream come true. I'm everything you ever were afraid of.
Scary shit. If this is your first episode of Treehouse of Horror Babylon, we don't talk about what's scary because it's not scary. If this is scary for you, I'm sorry. So we talk about what's the best joke, what's the worst joke. This one, I think, overall was a lot lighter on the laughs.
Yeah.
I think it had two big jokes, and then overall was kind of...
Yeah, I agree.
Not as good.
It's going to be ranking a little bit lower on my Simpson scale.
I agree. I think, kind of, for me, undisputably, I think the best joke is, I'm a Catholic priest.
Yeah, no, that's mine.
Yeah.
If you can't trust your kid with a Catholic priest, who can you trust them with?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was probably the best one.
Some other standouts, like when Homer's singing the lullaby, and then the toys are doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. The cowboy shoots himself.
Yeah, and the cowboy shoots himself. That's sort of the punchline of that joke.
Mm-hmm. I thought that was cute. It was more just like enjoyable
It was
than
more
funny.
like ha than ha-ha.
Yeah, exactly. Like, more like puts a smile on your face rather than like makes you laugh.
Yeah. It was well animated.
Yeah.
Worst joke.
The jury duty joke, maybe?
Yeah, the jury duty joke was a little weak.
They usually tend to end these better, but sometimes it's also hard to figure out how to end them.
I'm sitting here thinking, the random leprechaun I was kind of confused by.
That leprechaun, I don't remember exactly which Treehouse of Horror it is, but it's the main character of a Treehouse of Horror.
Okay, so...
And then it has appeared...
That was just a reference I didn't get.
Yeah, I think it's appeared in, like, every Treehouse of Horror since.
What else was there?
The fuck's a gypsy? It's actually... It's like a thinner parody.
Yeah.
It's not quoted as being a thinner parody, but it essentially is, where Homer destroys a gypsy's... I'm sorry. He destroys a Romani woman's shop, and she puts a curse on him so that his whole family suffers and dies. The only way he can think to lift the curse is to get a leprechaun. So he gets a leprechaun to attack the gypsy, and they end up, like, fucking and getting married.
Nice.
Yeah, it's...
I'm trying to think of some other jokes, and a lot of them just didn't stand out to me.
Yeah, it's... I think it's just generally probably one of, if not the weakest one that we've watched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Power of Christ compels you.
Okay, so Catholic priest shows up, says his 3 lines, gets the demon out. Marge looks at him and goes, she's not going to become a religious weirdo, is she? Which is something we have talked about since we've read The Exorcist.
Yeah, like, what? You should be a religious weirdo.
If you get
absolutely
possessed,
should.
And this works, I feel like you owe them.
Also, there was lots of opportunities for Lisa to, like, throw her Buddhism in people's face, and it never happened.
Maybe they don't want to offend people, but I do think that would have been funny if she would have tried to do, like, a Buddhist exorcism, and he just goes, that's not real. That's how I would have told the joke.
One of her, like, recurring jokes is she, like, likes to mention that she's vegetarian. She likes to mention that she's Buddhist.
Yeah, she's a liberal.
Yeah, exactly.
She wants to be super special.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god, there's this great, like, one of my all-time favorite, like, the show, like, Lisa's my favorite character, but sometimes when she gets dunked on, it's super funny. So there's this football episode where it's like the Pee Wee football episode, and they're at tryouts, and Flanders is the coach, and Flanders is like, well, I guess we got our roster. And then all of a sudden you hear Lisa go, you forgot about me, coach. And everybody turns, and Lisa's on the side of the field. She's got her face painted in football and shoulder pads. And she's like, that's right. A girl wants to play football. And he goes, that's great, Lisa. We already have 3 girls on the team. And she goes,
I'm familiar with that gag, but that's really funny.
Yeah, it's really funny.
Oh, if I'm not breaking the glass ceiling, then what's the point?
Yeah,
that's her character.
She doesn't join the team.
Yeah.
Because she was only interested if she was going to be, like, the only girl.
The Simpsons, at least in my experience, usually takes shots at a lot of conservatives, but every once in a while when they go, hey, maybe you guys should be a little self-aware too, I kind of like that.
Yeah, no, it's known for being a very leftist show, and it is. It especially, like, criticizes Donald Trump a lot, but it is also very self-aware and has a lot of jokes like that.
I do enjoy that.
Not quite as much as South Park, but similar to South Park, it does make fun of everybody.
That's good. Other than that, I was expecting Flanders to be a little bit more involved. I guess, yeah. Like, once they established it wasn't going to be Bart and Lisa. Then I was like, okay, then it has to be Flanders.
I mean, he had his Bible tape scene.
Woman Lovejoy. Lovejoy's always been a woman, Ryan.
I did like that they killed Helen, his wife. That was great.
Won't somebody think of the children? That's the only thing I know her from.
There's a whole episode where it comes out that they don't have sex. And, like, Marge, like, makes it their mission to let them get down.
That explains her attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be grumpy, too.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Are you Stephen King? No, I'm Dean Koontz. Oh.
Kings and Koontz. King. Shit. Fuck.
The shit and the fuck?
The shit and the fuck. Professor Shit.
Professor Heat.
And Professor Fuck. What does Professor Fuck teach?
Sex education.
Do they teach that at Hogwarts?
They should. Otherwise, we're going to end up with a bunch of pregnant teenage wizards, and that sounds super dangerous.
Pregnant teenage witches.
Yeah. Okay.
Wizards can't get pregnant.
That's not very woke, Ryan.
Those books take place in the 90s.
Okay, that's fair.
You didn't know it, but Harry had a slap bracelet on the whole time underneath his robes.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, King. What's your king? It's not shit and it's not fuck.
I guess it's just the Catholic priest joke. It was just super funny.
Yeah, mine's also the Catholic priest joke.
Close second is just Homer's lullaby. It was super cute.
I like the animation through that. I thought that was like, well, I was going to say choreographed, but animated.
Animated. It did
shot,
not. They did not need to reanimate.
Yeah.
No. And then my Koontz, I'm going to say not using an established character as the Exorcist. I hate it when they do that.
Mine's super similar. This is called the Exor-sis, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the guy got a little wordplay with sis. They didn't use Bart and Lisa like at all. So why even mention that it's a sister?
Yeah, Lisa should have been the Exorcist and Bart should have been assisting. And yeah.
That's my big point. Is like you do this wordplay with your title, but then you don't do anything with the wordplay in the episode.
And honestly, like, Lisa's basically not used at all in this episode, and Bart is only used with, like, the possession at the end.
Oh, this is the darkest soul I've ever been.
Get me out of here!
Maggie has a way higher body count. There is no way that Bart's soul is darker.
No, that's true. In terms of, like, legit murders, we're not talking about pranks. I mean,
Bart is literally just a rambunctious boy.
Yeah, he's Dennis the Menace.
Yeah.
Maggie is a serial killer. Rankings. What did I have on Dial Z for zombies? This might be my bottom.
It's my bottom one.
Yeah, I think it's my bottom too.
I think that of everything else we watched, we had at least one or two big laughs. Mm-hmm. And in this, we kind of got that one big laugh.
I think it's the religious weirdo joke and the Catholic priest joke.
I think everything else, like all the other ones we've watched, had some. They did stuff with the title. They had a little bit more laughs throughout.
I don't think it's bad necessarily.
No, I don't think we've watched a bad one yet.
And I think that kind of one of the strengths is you always get 3 in an episode. So if one is weaker, then the other 2 can carry it.
Yeah, it's the strength of anthologies.
Yeah, and then also just they're 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever. I missed, like, that's how long it takes me to take a dump. So
it takes me 30 seconds to take a dump.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't actually take.
Yeah, I know. I'm just fucking with you.
I eat a salad every day. I'm plenty regular. Just so you guys know.
Yeah. It's lava poop.
Lava poop.
Okay, how would Lisa do her Buddhist exorcism?
She would burn some incense, and then she would meditate on it, and she would be in her room meditating on the perfect way to perform a Buddhist exorcism, and it would just, like, cut to, like, days later, and they're like, they're still waiting. We're still waiting for Lisa to figure out how to do this.
Alrighty, so here's mine.
Okay.
Maggie's possessed, and Lisa keeps, like, trying to do Buddhist stuff, and she keeps saying, as a Buddhist, and by, like, the 10th time, the demon flees and goes, I get it.
I get it. Put it in your Twitter profile. You're a Buddhist. I get it.
And then it flees back into the Southwest.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's better. Not even as powerful as the South Wind or the West Wind. That was
okay.
Yeah, that was decent too. For a question of the listeners, we have our next face-off, and we're doing this one Simpsons theme since we have Treehouse of Horror this week. We have Milhouse Van Houten versus Richard Milhouse Nixon. If you didn't know, Milhouse was his actual middle name, and Milhouse from The Simpsons is named after Nixon.
My third favorite president.
Yeah. And if you want for shits and giggles, it can be historical Nixon or Futurama Nixon. And if it's...
They're not the same.
And if it's Futurama Nixon, he can be assisted by the headless body of Agnew.
Okay, well, the Millhouse fucking dies.
Get him, Agnew!
Agnew's just gonna throw Nixon's head at Millhouse. It's gonna bite his face.
All right, well, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong, but we don't get to decide. Yeah, we let the people decide. This is a democratic podcast.
Unlike Nixon, we let the people decide.
Oh, Nixon burn. What are you, Frost?
Nixon, I love you.
It makes no sense that Frost would burn that bad.
Nixon's one of the few presidents I actually know things about.
Upcoming on the Horror of Babylon, the last 2 regular Sunday episodes of Season 2 on October 22nd. Episode 96 will wrap up the Five Nights at Freddy's novel trilogy with FNAF The Fourth Closet.
We need that beer again.
Yeah. Have you heard the phrase going through the motions? Because that's how I read this book.
Just like my marriage.
Yeah. It very much felt like the Fourth Closet was the horny husband and I was the wife who just wanted to go to sleep. And I'm just like, fine, but I'm not doing anything. And then October the 29th, we will be doing our episode on the Five Nights at Freddy's film. And then our last 2 bonus episodes of the season before we head on over to Season 3. On Thursday, October 26th, we will be wrapping up the Alien-a-thon with Alien Covenant. And then our last episode of Season 2 on Halloween itself will be our Horror of Babylon 2-year anniversary show. Hef will be there for that. I think last year we did what we called the Horries, which was like our little award show where we
had too many ties.
Yeah, we had way too many ties. So we'll have a better point system this year. But I think we'll probably bring that back so we can honor some of the better books and we've read and movies that we've watched this year.
Are we gonna do a Razzie? And why does the Twisted Ones get it?
Or River of Teeth.
Oh, God, yeah, River of Teeth.
I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could just put up a poll.
Yeah, we could. And hopefully some people that would vote in that poll would be Abigail the First, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons, and
Logan,
the Full Metal Patron, and Ben,
the Fourth
Patron of Hope, and Mia the Fifth, the Rainmaker.
She makes it rain.
And thank you to Horsemen Comics and Gaming, which you can find at the Morgantown Mall in Morgantown, West Virginia, the Mall at Robinson in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You can shop online at shop.forhorsemancomics.com. And if you make it into the store, say hello to Ronald III, Grampus of Christmas. And thank you for watching the Exor-sis tonight with me, Daniel.
I had a great time, Ryan.
Stay tuned for our socials. Thank you to our patrons, and stay scary.
Stay scary, everybody.
And now for the obligatory socials. Please like, share, and subscribe. You can find the podcast on Twitter at HorrorPod69. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Slasher, and Goodreads. Become part of the Disturbed community by asking for the Facebook group and Discord links. Send dick pics to the Horror of Babylon podcast at gmail.com. Support the show at patreon.com/the Horror of Babylon. In closing, you can let your friends know that the Horror of Babylon is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, and all other major podcast apps. Stay scary.